Hello, everybody, and welcome to Four Mics, the podcast about gaming news and games. I'm here with Dr. Smurf
Hello there.
and Awesome X.
Good evening.
Deldev is kind of here, but he's away doing something for
He
his parents,
is
so he'll be back.
Exposed.
He has a family and stuff, so yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like a fucking pussy has a family.
Ah, dang. Oh well. So
Oh no, prior engagements.
Dude, fuck
he'll join us at some point. I'm gonna go give us a quick glance at what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about Microsoft shipping games on Steam, Twitch suing bot makers, Tiny Builds claiming G2A as illegally sold keys, the French forces will be premium DLC, Dishonored 2 without powers, and the E3 recap. All right, I'm gonna flow us right into. Phil Spencer says Microsoft will ship games on Steam.
Actually, just really quick for people who watch this later on YouTube. Since we're going to be discussing all the articles and it's mostly E3, I'm actually fucking around with World Painter. So for the YouTube peoples, this is a 4Mics World Painter edition.
Yes. Yeah, the messing around World Painter, it's a editing tool you use to make worlds in Minecraft.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Stock's been working on a pretty interesting map he wants to throw up in a server for us at some point.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, go
So
ahead, sorry.
that's the server we'll play on at some point for Mike's fans on YouTube.
No,
In the
fuck
meanwhile.
they don't get to play. We don't
Phil
have
Spencer
fans.
says Microsoft will ship games on Steam again, quote.
When?
Microsoft- Hold on, let's find out. Let's read Microsoft is pushing hard to bring life into its own app store, sometimes to great annoyance to gamers who wonder why we can't all just learn to stop worrying and love Steam. But in an interview on the Giant Bomb live stream last night via GameStop, Xbox boss Phil Spencer said that Microsoft isn't done with Steam. I look at Steam today as and it has an incredible growth trajectory. It's a massive force in gaming and a positive force. I think it'll be bigger in a year from now than it is today, and 5 years later it'll still be bigger again. I look at Valve as an important independent software vendor for us on Windows. They're a crucial part of gaming success on Windows. I don't think Valve hurt not having first-party games on their store right now. They're doing incredibly well. We will ship games on Steam again. He doesn't necessarily lay out when, but he did mention that games like Halo, probably not the big blockbusters like Halo and Gears of War aren't going to hit it, but things that are smaller like Ori and the Blind Forest, which I think is already on Steam again.
What you're telling me, the things that people want on Steam will not be on Steam.
Ding, 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 ding.
What I'm telling you is the things people want aren't going to be there. And that's probably because Microsoft wants to push their own marketing system again, which welcome back to Windows Live Games.
So null and void, go away, suck my cock wings.
I distinctly remember now, of course, if I could go in and just edit in the previous episode, I think it was probably episode 2, where Doc predicted that this was exactly what was going to happen. Where he's like,
one thing I heard about this that is good is if you buy a game on your Xbox, you can still play it on your computer through the live whatever the fuck the Windows thing's going to be in the computer.
Yeah, but with settings
don't have to buy it
restricted to the
twice.
quality of the Xbox.
Oh, well then they can go fuck themselves.
did they literally say that?
No, but it's built into the game engines. People have bought like Tomb Raider
Yeah.
through the Windows Store, and it has settings locked to the levels of what the Xbox can perform, and it does not allow you to edit them in any way.
Well, see, this
They
is
can
exactly
fuck
what I
themselves.
fucking said was gonna happen. They're gonna, like,
Yeah.
they didn't learn from their previous mistakes. They're gonna use the, like, I'm just gonna call it this because this is what I've been calling it, so it doesn't matter if it's wrong. The Microsoft Unified Extensible Platform, or WEEP. Because that's what you do. You fucking cry. Basically, like, it's just emulating consoles, so obviously it's gonna be, you know, console level performance.
I just hate them. I hate them with everything I got. Granted, I don't care for like Xbox games, so I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't hurt my feelings.
I was gonna say, like, the only thing I really care about is like if they can make a decent Halo game again, and we get it on PC, I'd care that it's restricted to the Xbox settings because the reason I want it on PC is so I can be like, look at this beautifulness. Also, the Windows Live platform game downloader does not give you any exe.
What? Excuse
What's
me?
the deal?
It does not give you any exe. I don't know how it runs games, but it does
What?
not run it in an
Are they gonna
executable.
do what freaking EA did when we tried to play Battlefield 4? Did it in a fucking browser?
I don't know, but I was
No,
meaning to mention that for Battlefield 1 because I really hope they drop that in Battlefield 1.
What it's
Yes,
probably
man.
gonna do is it's probably gonna be some like. Well, actually, no. This pretty much confirms what I was saying. Believe it or not, because they're not going to be individually wrapped executables. What it's probably going to be is a series of game asset files that run on this extensible platform, that like run on this emulator, right? So there is
Yes.
no individual kind of like engine that's being launched so much as the platform itself is what's rendering all the assets. Does that make any sense?
That might be what's happening. I'm not sure. It does make sense.
It would
I know
be a
what you're
great way
saying.
to prevent people from stealing assets, but you know, all you're gonna
Yeah.
do is successfully piss off the internet, and then they're gonna steal your assets anyway.
Yeah, and they'll just
I
go
don't-
elsewhere to grab them because obviously
Like, having it there just
they're
to be
selling it.
stolen without any kind of restrictions, yeah, there'll be some assholes doing it, but then you put this kind of wall in front of it, like you're saying, then yeah, people are just gonna come out of the woodworks just to do it to piss them off.
Probably. At the same time, people are also just going to go elsewhere. Like, the Tomb Raider game is not only being sold on the Windows Store where it's
Right, like,
broken as
Are
shit.
we talking
You
about the
can go
newest
buy
one?
it. Yeah, we're talking about Raiders or whatever, the new one.
Rise of the Tomb Raider. Yeah, I got
Rise
it.
of the Tomb Raider. Yeah, that one is not being only sold through the Windows Store. So you can go get the executable and all the other normal game files elsewhere.
Yep.
Where it's not locked to a fucking, like, 45 frames a second for who knows what reason.
45 frames a second.
Not 60, not 30, somewhere in the middle.
It looks
Yeah,
okay.
we're weird.
doesn't it? It
Yeah,
doesn't
who
look
knows?
bad. It looks all right.
Yeah, but there's quite a few settings that, like, it's set to, like, middle
Yeah.
quality settings. You can't raise it and stuff like that. So
That's just lame.
I would be worried about them doing that with other games, but maybe that's why when we get to
Let's say,
Scorpio,
like-
maybe that's why Scorpio's so fucking
Powerful.
powerful, so that they don't have to lock settings like that and stuff for PCs, so they're not cutting into their PC audience.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
okay,
I don't
this
know
is
how.
there's
powerful
two
it
problems with
is.
this line of reasoning, though. Like, first of all, how powerful is Scorpio actually going to be?
It's supposed to be like I was hearing something. It's supposed to be like 4.5 teraflops.
See, that's a
7.5
really
teraflops, but
that's a
anyways,
really
Seven?
stupid way to measure like the performance.
it is
what,
a very stupid way.
what you want, like, okay, so what did you say? 7 teraflops, right?
It's 7.1 teraflops.
7.1 teraflops. Like, if you were to convert an i7, which you know, a teraflop is basically like I don't know how to convert that from gigahertz. Flops.
Hold
I'll
on.
actually just.
Gigaflops.
Yeah. You look it up, but from what I've heard, it's equivalent to like 4.5 times more powerful than the current existing
The Scorpio
Xbox.
is 6. Scorpio is 6
Six?
teraflops. Yes.
Okay, 6 teraflops, whatever. I knew it was really high
Yes, but
compared to the new Xbox. Doc's gonna go do some actual conversion for us.
let me look at Xbox 1 teraflops.
Yeah,
I think it's
okay.
1.5.
So what a flop is a floating point operation, right? So basically that's. I mean, I wouldn't say an individual transistor, but just the ability to calculate a byte or a bit. So that means that it's, what did you say, 6? It was 6?
Yeah,
It's
from
6.
Scorpio.
Yeah, so that's
apparently.
6 trillion floating point calculation. But like, I don't know if you can go right from hertz to flops. I don't know if those are the same.
I'm trying to see what they have.
I don't think so because I think teraflops are like an overall assessment of the general characteristics of a rig. I think they're like combined between like your graphic processor and your internal RAM and your all of it overall. I
Let's
believe.
see. The Xbox One is a 1.31 flap.
Okay.
But from what I also heard, the
Yeah, so-
R9 480 is like
There's a piece of
4.5.
information missing. Basically, a hertz, okay, or per second just means something happens in that time frame.
Yep.
So you're talking about a non-specific thing, whereas with flops, it's kind of like hertz, but it's a specific value of something that's happening within.
Yep.
Like I said, it's a really stupid way to measure.
Yeah, all we know is we believe the Scorpio is going to have the R9 in it, which Steve was just about to talk about. But
Yes.
the R9 is VR ready, 4K ready. Out the box.
Both Sony and Xbone have like a contract with AMD. So more than likely the Neo will have that as well.
Yep. Steve,
Because
did
it's
you
also
bring in
very
your
cheap.
audio spiked again?
Did it?
Yeah. I'm going to
Oh.
lower you slightly. I don't know what's with you and your weird random audio spikes.
I'm just too cool.
Yeah, you're too
But yeah, like I think Sony's Neo will also have a 480 in it.
Okay, so theoretical peak flop is number of cores times average frequency times operation. So you need 2 more parts of a calculation to get from hertz to flops.
Yeah. Who knows? I mean, all I know is that might be why the Scorpio is supposed to be 4K game ready, right? Like that's what.
Oh,
it's
not game.
No, not game ready. God, no.
Not game?
There's
I
no
thought it was
way.
Game.
Okay,
No.
I thought it was
They're,
no way.
they're gonna blow up a 1080p game and like blow it up to 4K, but it'll still be like 1080p.
Okay, we're talking about upscaling rather than
Yes.
like actual 4K.
Like it's 4K streaming for like videos and stuff.
They're basically
that's
just upsampling. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess, like, my concern, or not really even concern, but a question is, like, when do you cross the line from, like, okay, well, I'll rephrase it again, because a console is already a shitty proprietary computer. But
Yes.
when do you cross over from, like, shitty proprietary PC that, you know, is what a console is, to start getting into, we're now approaching like Steam machine levels of computational power? Like, because if they put enough under the hood of something like Project Scorpio, the more power you put into it, the less and less you're able to argue that it's a console. Like, eventually you're just, at a point, you're just gonna have a computer with proprietary bits in it.
And console fans
Especially for Xbox though, because Xbox is doing that PC back and forth thing now.
Yeah, but
you
do you
can
see what I'm
buy
saying?
it
From your PC.
Then Phil Spencer is talking about just having interchangeable parts instead of just selling whole consoles.
Yeah, well, okay, congratulations, you've just invented the personal computer. Like,
Yeah,
like- It's the personal computer that's claiming to be a console, except it's the freaking PC.
Yep. And for some reason, console gamers don't like that.
It's because
I
they
don't
want to think
understand.
they like their console is different than a computer, even though it's not.
well,
It's just
it is in the
I mean-
sense that it can't be upgraded and it's proprietary and it's more likely to break. But
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess in those ways. But I mean, like, realistically, it's just a computer running a different software, a different operating system that plays a different language.
Yep. Anyway, we've kind of derailed that. For
I like derailment, though. It's nice to go full combo. Break down deep. We went from talking about games will be sold on Steam all the way to Project Scorpio. All right,
Yeah.
so I'm going to move us on to the next one.
Twitch.
Twitch is going to sue bot makers. Now, fair note, this is not like Nightbot. It's not like MooBot. It's particular botting companies that have view bots that are used to inflate a stream's view count.
We use them all the time.
Sure we do. Yeah, of course we do.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
That's why we have
sure.
8 viewers or whatever we have right now.
We
It was
have one
beautiful.
viewer.
How
8
many?
viewers, right?
Oh, hey,
Oh, look,
look
it's
who
a
showed
Velvet.
up.
About
We've
time.
got the
We're
Paul.
like
Hi,
almost
Paul.
done, dude.
I've been here for like 5 minutes.
Really?
Wow.
What an asshole.
He was just waiting for the topic to change so he could chime in.
Pretty much.
I got
All right, so let's read this. Twitch has filed a lawsuit against 7 makers of view bots, follow bots, and chat impersonation bots designed to artificially inflate the viewer and follower counts of Twitch streamers. Bots are a persistent frustration making marketing SVP Matthew, whatever the fuck his last name is, wrote in a blog post announcing the action. They have created a real problem that is damaging the effects across our entire community. He mentions that these bots are being used to get people that aren't like actively making their channel use these bots get banned, like people that are growing in subscriber count and viewer count, and then somebody goes to their stream, tells the view bot to go to their stream, tells a bunch of them to go to the stream, and then Twitch bans them for using a viewer inflation bot.
That's a dick move.
That's actually
Yeah.
that's a really smart way to get somebody taken down, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Who needs to work to do it? Just send a few bots over.
Fuck it. Yeah, it's kind of.
Yep, so people have been getting falsely banned for this and falsely taken down. Larger channels are being affected by getting warning marks and other things to that effect.
Right.
I don't know how much they're being affected, but now Twitch is pursuing legal action against these bot companies. And I'm fine with it, really. Like, I never cared about view bots to begin with. It's like,
I didn't
it's
even know they
nice
were
to
a
have
thing.
more viewers to move ourselves up the view count, but I don't care enough to go, like, potentially get my account banned.
Yeah, like, I honestly did not know they were even a thing.
Well, I mean, even if someone gets hit by them, it's not like they're getting more revenue from these people or these bots coming in, because the bots aren't watching the ads usually. The bots are just sitting there as an entity.
Well, yeah, the only reason to have them there is to crawl your way up the catalog. That's pretty much the only reason.
Yep.
I mean, I watch King Gathalion bringing it around to Destiny, and he had somebody who was view botting his stream for a while. And he actually found out that it was like a fan who was trying to get him higher up the view when he was first starting out. So he had to ask, like, he never figured out exactly who it was, but he like had to ask them to stop,
Right.
because they didn't
Yeah.
want to get in trouble.
Yeah, he probably got warned, and especially when he's trying to like find partnership with the company and trying to go so on like that, the company then goes and reviews like who's following you, who's been watching you, and if it just keeps coming up with a bunch of these like bot accounts that they can link to bot creation tools, it's just like they can end up being denied just because of that, which is really sad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little more ingenious because I never really thought of using it to get somebody destroyed on Twitch, but apparently people have done that. So
I had no idea.
yeah, I knew they existed. I just didn't realize that people,
Why is the paint in this and not in Twitch? What?
why is there paint in this and not in Twitch?
What?
Paul, Bella. Yeah, I almost called you Pot. I don't know why.
Pot, stop
Paul.
it.
Paul,
And then
what?
why is
What?
is
No,
there
I think he's
paint in
referring
YouTube?
to World Painter. Like it's on the YouTube only. The Twitch channel is gonna keep the articles up. So.
Oh yeah, because Twitch will always have a backlog of our videos, and I can also upload those to the YouTube channel anyways. So Doc's doing that because I always have the articles. We read the articles anyways. Doc figured he'd do something a little different on YouTube, which is fine. It just means I'll start moving the videos over to YouTube as well. If somebody cares to like read the
Like our
articles as
last,
well.
episode where we got into an intellectual discussion about
Yeah,
vault tech.
intellectual discussion.
Yes. Right.
By the way, I didn't edit that. It is up on the
Good.
YouTube page right now in it, all of its original glory.
So if
All right,
anyone
cool.
wants to see bigotry, go ahead.
Bigotry. Sure.
That's not how we see it.
I mean, I
Alright.
just see it differently than you, but that's fine.
All right, what are
yeah,
we on?
I think we're done with the Twitch conversation. Is anybody
there's
have
not
anything
really-
to
there's not a lot
contribute
to
about
add.
this? No, I just
Yeah.
felt like it was a relevant piece of news to mention since, it's very important to gaming and it's actually important to us. We use Twitch.
No, we don't. We use YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah.
Did you guys
I'm
notice that I put
wondering
that
if these
Twitter
bots
post?
will be No, I didn't see your Twitter post. I'm
I
wondering
put
if
it on the
bots will
highway.
pop up on YouTube though. I didn't think about that until just
Hold on,
this
I want to
moment.
go to a Twitter quick. I have to see what Deldum does to it.
Doc, do you know if these bots could be any effect to YouTube?
I mean,
what do you
yes.
I mean, could you obviously use these, I don't know what you would have to do to edit the bots, but could you make these bots inflate a viewer count in YouTube just the same?
I mean, YouTube really hasn't had a major problem with botting and rate botting. Sorry, I was looking away from my mic. I'll start over. YouTube hasn't had a big problem with view botting and rate botting probably since around 2010, I'd say, maybe 2009. Mostly because there's so many people on YouTube and the ad revenue per view is so small that the amount of botting that you would have to do is just off the charts. Plus YouTube's algorithms,
Twitch, like a few thousand.
yeah, like YouTube's algorithms are, have been finely honed over the years of people trying to, fudge their numbers. So I think
Right.
YouTube is probably much more robust in terms of it dealing with possible fake views and things like that than something like Twitch would be.
Nice.
Okay.
Because a change of even like 50 viewers can send you what, like 70% of the way up the list. Like,
Oh yeah.
Okay.
a lot of the people at the bottom, are under, 50 concurrent viewers.
They're usually under 20. Like your
U-
bottom
usually-
30% are all under 20 or 10 usually.
You have thousands of people in like the 0 count, then you have thousands of people in 1, then you have thousands of people in 2, and then as it goes up, it just starts getting exponentially.
Yeah, so even just
higher.
dumping in like 30 views
Yeah.
is a huge difference on Twitch compared to something like YouTube. So, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I think you could do it, but it wouldn't do anything.
Especially because I think partnership with Twitch, to get
Like
the
1,000.
subscribe button is 1,000 viewers, right?
It's 1,000 followers.
1,000 followers? Oh, followers. Okay. Well, yeah. So you get follow bots.
Yep.
You get the same thing. All right. Moving on to our next article. Tiny Build claims G2A sold $450,000 worth of its keys without paying a penny.
It's an awfully big claim.
I saw about this on the Kotaku in Action subreddit, and I have yet to see Trust But Verify on this. Like, as far as I know, there's only 2 sources. One of them's anonymous. Like, what's the actual evidence behind this claim?
So far, Tiny Build has put forward none, as far as
Oh.
I'm aware.
Lovely. Okay.
So they ain't got shit.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, Tiny Build has presented no actual evidence to this claim.
I'm inclined to call bullshit then.
Yep. Like I like
Yep,
Tiny
I
Build,
was very
but
inclined for
come
it
on,
myself.
guys.
Like, show me the proof, nerds.
Yep, quickly we'll delve into the article's content, because it asks more than if we give a shit about Tiny Build in this current objection, because I don't give a shit about Tiny Build. I don't give a shit about them getting this problem unless they can actually prove it. And even then, I don't know what they can do about it. Because G2A says it was sold to them through a distributor for Tiny Build, and G2A has that proof. So
Like right now,
the
I'm
distributor
watching
screwed over
G2A's
Tiny Build.
I'm reading G2A's official response to this. It's like, we believe we're innocent until proven guilty. And we also mean by our 200,000 merchants are also innocent until proven otherwise. So go away,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah, basically. And from what I've gathered, they have proof that it was sold by one of the merchandisers for Tiny Build. So one of the distributors screwed over Tiny Build if this is actually something that happened.
Right. I think it's just Tiny Build being pissed at their games are being sold like at a very low price. And they're
Yeah,
not
they're already
getting any
relatively
of it.
cheap games.
Yeah.
Like heck, what's that one game Tiny Build has that's like completely free on Steam? It was like
Don't know much about
$10.
Tiny Build.
Neither do I. They've had a few games that people have played. Like you've seen like some of the YouTubers hit them
Like
up with like
speedrunners.
Party Hard, yeah, Party Harder and speedrunners. That I've seen people play those, but
Okay.
most of the rest of their games aren't things I've even seen anyone play.
Well, No Time to Explain is a pretty popular or properly known game, not so much played.
Yeah. Okay, let's see here. I wanted to get into this part here though. You buy, for example, a Humble Bundle that includes games you already own, so you unload the keys through G2A for less than the regular price, and everybody's happy. You get a few bucks, someone else gets a cheap game, and G2A earns a small cut from the payment provider. The problem is that the system encourages bad behavior as people use hot credit cards to purchase large number of bundles or keys from various sellers and then offload them through G2A.
But that's not G2A's problem. That's like saying someone's just gonna steal a bunch of shit and pawn it off at a pawn shop, so the pawn shop must now be in trouble.
I mean, well, there are certain laws for things like that, but if you're working in, a virtual space, it's not like at a pawn shop where you can check the serial number on the back of that,
Exactly. Like you just have the
Xbox
key.
that looks a little bit too new,
Yeah.
it's
Like you just get it. They just see the key and like, oh, you have a key. That's proof that you bought this because that's
it's
the best we can do.
it's just a string of numbers. Like,
Is
Yeah.
Well,
is there
even
any
that-
like
oops, sorry.
limit to the time that credit cards have, and so you say or that you can't say that you're gonna regress a charge to it?
you mean
I'm
like a
not sure.
chargeback?
Yeah, because isn't that the issue? They're charging back after buying these keys.
No. Here, they use the words "hot credit card," which I think means stolen, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
usually
I believe
stolen
so.
credit
Okay.
cards. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not
Never mind
about
then.
it's not about denying the charge because then they could send the credit bureaus after them. They're actually using stolen cards.
Which even
Yeah.
still is not again G2A's problem.
Yeah, they use stolen credit cards, buy it from somewhere else, then the funds get taken out when the credit card gets found stolen, So the company that had the game bought from them on the hot card then loses that money and the game's key ends out on the market.
Right, but they shouldn't be going after G2A for that. They should go after the individuals that are
Well,
doing
even then, G2A has a built-in system to deal with that.
Yes.
Like,
they do.
you know that G2A shield that we buy whenever we buy G2A games?
Yep.
That's because if the key is hot like that, the company can kill the key because the company can track what key they sold on that hot card, usually.
Yes.
Unless it's through a bundle, in which case that's
In
might
which
be a
case,
little
rip
more
the stream.
yeah. But ignoring that, they can track that key, so they'll kill the key. Then the key stops working for you, the person that bought it through G2A. G2A will refund your money for the game and denote a mark on the account that sold the game.
Yep.
And if they find out enough that the account was selling hot keys and stuff like that, they'll take the funds back from the account and ban the account.
Sweet. So yeah, I have no problem with it.
Yeah, like I think Tiny Build is just bitching, really.
Yeah, I guess that's what it kind of sounds like. It's just they're complaining.
Like, if they present evidence that it happened, I'm sure G2A would be happy to help them.
Yeah, but they should just be like telling accusations like we're now gonna like sue you or anything like that. It's like no. Like this is also gonna hurt G2A anyway. Like,
Yeah, like it hurts.
like it
G2A.
hurts their reputation and stuff like that. Like their reputation is now on the line, so of course they'd want to help.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm waiting for it to flush out more and see if Tiny Build replies with like a here's our proof, and then if G2A goes, well, we're still not going to do anything, then I'm on the side of Tiny Build.
Yes.
But if G2A then, turns around and just says like, well, okay, you have proof, we'll now give you the distributor. We'll tell you where we got the keys from. We'll remove the keys from active use and refund them with the G2A sheet, like we do.
Yeah.
Because that's what G2A does.
And problem solved.
Yeah, and problem solved. Done.
Hashtag Dungeon Rings.
All right. I'm going to move us on to our next article. If I can breathe. Apparently I can.
You can't breathe.
French forces.
French forces will be premium DLC for Battlefield 1. I'm going to let Steve read this one. Because I'm
No, I was reading something else, damn you.
You get a special weapon that's a white flag.
No, you just have a button. He just shouts, "I surrender."
As I said, I think that says more about the importance of the French army than it does shitty DLC practices. Are we just gonna use this? Are we just gonna use this entire segment to shit on the French? I mean, I'm down.
Apparently. Let's do it. Why not? It's already started before we even got into the article. Like, I'm actually wondering how much did the French army contribute to World War II?
Don't make me Google that. It was bad.
I'm gonna go look it up, like, because I'm actually interested to know how much the French army contributed. That all these people are like, what about the French? Why are the French not in the game? I'm just like, I don't know. Did the French army do anything? I don't remember their casualty counts being among the things I saw. Military forces of the French during World War II. If I recall, they tried to stop the German advance and then got trampled by the SAS. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Can I mention the quote that they decided to do the Google translation on?
Sure.
Really do justice to the French army in multiplayer, and once again to show a side that we're not used to seeing, the French side. We have chosen to dedicate an entire premium expansion with special treatment after the launch of the game.
So what? Is it like you see someone that's playing as a French soldier, you have to sit there for 8 minutes while they decide if they want to shoot you or just walk by?
So what you're saying is that we're shitting on the French, and they're shitting on the French, and everyone is shitting on the French. All right, good to know.
I mean, hold on. I'm looking at this military parade of French officers. They have heavy saw machine guns, like those style of big machine guns with the mag feed, loaded, slung over their shoulder, pointed at the soldiers behind them as they carry them by the handle. Their finger inches away from the trigger.
No, that's not what the French does.
That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a historical picture of them walking with soldiers behind them with this.
It's a historic.
Pointing at the soldiers.
Someone photoshopped it. They took out the white flags and replaced them with machine guns.
No, I have to show you guys this. Here, I'm gonna link it in curse real quick, which is gonna fuck up our images, but who cares? Go.
Oh, God damn
look
it.
at that. Look at that. Did that link the article or did it link the picture?
Oh my God! No.
Oh, wait, no.
What are they doing?
Here's your French military, gentlemen.
Oh no! In case you can't shoot them, they got you covered.
Chat. There you go. The French soldiers are just pointing the guns at the soldiers behind them.
You got the one closest to the camera. He has a smile.
I know.
He's fucking smiling.
Oh Jesus.
Oh,
I think that's because he knows.
This. But I'm over this already. Next
Alright.
article, please.
Yeah, we're just shitting on the French. Like, that's what happened. We announced that it will be premium DLC, and then we shit on the French.
Well, before we
Apologies
go,
to the French viewers.
I mean, you really don't have to worry about weapon balance because you know that none of the French guns are going to be that good.
They're gonna be like fucking BB guns.
Well, for most of the world, the war, they were occupied by Germany. How much time did they have to make weapons? I'm pretty sure they were supplied most of their weapons from Britain.
That's true.
Like, I don't think they have their own weapons. Would be my argument. All right. Any other further comments on the French?
No, I think we're good.
All
Yeah,
right.
we're done.
We move
they've been
into you can play the whole of Dishonored 2 without using powers.
Okay, cool.
I
Now
am-
let's just skip right
I'm a
to
fan.
the second paragraph. You can literally say no to the outsider. I've had enough of your gifts, which means you reject gaining magical powers, and you can play the entire game, which they designed it to be playable without powers this time. So you can reject being able to teleport short distances and stuff like that from the first game, and just tell the outsider blatantly no.
I'm so down for this.
Yeah, like it's just an odd thing. Like, hey, want to have we're gonna add a handicap, and everyone loves it.
I mean, kind of, but I always thought that was like part of the core mechanics of the game.
It
Like,
was
I-
because there was some parts where you just couldn't sneak around. You had to like use the teleporting. You had to do distraction stuff with it. Like,
I'm
Yeah.
just hoping there's like an extra ending just for the players that don't do it.
Yeah.
Because that would take a lot of skill, especially when the game's built around usually you using powers.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in that myself. Like, who knows? It's going to be interesting to see what they changed about the game, because like being able to move around the upper ledges of a wall and things by teleporting, like in the first mission, you could go all the way inside without ever getting detected, which was really fun. I enjoyed
Yeah.
doing that teleport. But did anybody else have problems with the mission figuring out how to get him accused of being in the gang?
Yep.
I
I'm
never
hoping
got
they
to
bring
part.
that mechanic back. The mechanic I'm talking about is in Dishonored, you can choose to kill your target, like an assassin, or there's always an alternative means to get them removed from the seat of power that they're in. So you can dispose of them without killing them, or dispose of them simply by just stabbing them or something. Like the first mission, he's gonna poison the guy he's with, so I just switched the cups that they had on the table.
Mhm.
Like, that was the simplest thing. You just switch the two cups, and now the one guy dies.
Yep.
Mission accomplished. I teleported out before even seeing the little like watch him get poisoned thing, because I didn't have to wait around for it. I was already out the front gate when the alarm got raised inside the gate.
I believe also you could just remove the poison.
Can you? Well, even if you
Thing.
remove the poison, I know you can do that, because that's how you do the gang thing. Is you have to remove the poison, and then somehow plant evidence that this guy is in this rogue gang thing, and so the constable that he's going to try and kill arrests him and takes him to jail.
I believe I had the evidence on me, and then I just let him be poisoned anyway.
Yeah, I didn't know where the evidence was. But if they bring that mechanic back along with the like you don't have to use powers,
Mhm.
I'm very interested to see the whole game in general. I'm definitely gonna play the playthrough like probably 4 times, I guess, if they bring all the mechanics back.
Oh
yeah. Once killing them with powers, once saving them with powers, once killing them without powers, and once saving them without powers.
I did like having the rats that ate people.
The rats that ate people. Summon
It's
the
just so
swarm of
good for like
rats.
disposing bodies.
It was the best way to make bodies disappear.
Weren't the rats from being evil?
I think.
The
Like,
rats are definitely evil. Like, the rats spread the disease that was in the town, whatever disease that is.
Yeah, the weird disease that makes people monkeys.
Basically. Whatever. Anything else about this I want to talk about?
Needs to hurry up and be released.
Other than I hope that I can still throw heads around.
Yes.
Still hope you can throw heads around.
I want to bring heads back to the main hideout and just put them on a shelf. And keep them there.
Wow. I mean, okay, I can see that as a reason.
And I guess also it's like you can play either Arno or what the fuck the guy's name is.
Oh yeah, there's 2 playable characters,
Yeah. So there
right?
might be 2 different stories too. kind
Which
of like
means
the
there's
medieval-
8 playthroughs I have to do if that's true. I thought doing the 2 playthroughs for the first game was an annoyance. Because doing the no-kill run takes bloody years.
Bloody years. It was
Yes.
so many years they were just covered in blood for like no reason.
Obviously from the women menstruating. What else?
I thought we weren't gonna be horrible this time.
Just being horrible in general because I feel like it.
Well,
Jeez.
There goes this episode.
This
Thank you
episode.
for joining us.
Take a joke. I don't know where the blood
Yeah,
came from.
internet.
It's going anybody.
Women bleed out of their vaginas. Take the joke.
Calm
Yes.
down, man.
Yes, Steve. Women bleed out of their vaginas.
They
That's the
do.
point. I wasn't
lot.
killing people, so where else does the blood come from?
They bleed a lot out of there.
Why are we talking about this? Moving on. Whoa, he's dead. Well, moving over to our E3 recap. There's a lot to talk about here, so this is probably going to be a majority of the rest of the episode. Interestingly, I've lost Curse. Where did Curse go? There we go.
Wow.
Forever.
It's back. I don't know where it went for a second there. It kind of died. No one can hear me?
I hear
No,
you.
we can hear you just fine.
Oh, I thought somebody said nobody can hear me. Jeez.
Nobody can hear you, Bulldog.
Let's start with Doc, as I'm assuming he has a very particular set of games and things he's excited for, and maybe some
You mean, like,
outliers
the
that I'm
2?
interested to hear about.
Do I? I have a very
Yeah,
specific set
That's
of
what I
things.
thought.
Well, I mean, there's probably about I'd say there's probably about 4, really.
Okay, yeah. That's kinda
I
what
mean,
thought.
obviously there's Destiny shit that wasn't at E3 that they did an announcement for.
It actually is at E3. If you scroll down in the E3 recap, let's see.
Yeah, but it
We
was
have
more
Destiny, The
like
Rise
it
of
wasn't part of
Iron,
the press conferences though. It was more like showroom floor level
something
stuff.
on the show floor. Okay. It's
Um,
mentioned here.
actually, let me pull up the.
Yeah. It's time to show YouTube what we're talking about.
I know what Rise of
Oh, no,
Iron
they-
is.
they
I've seen
know.
the trailer for it. I'm just probably not gonna get it.
I'm still excited for Titanfall 2. I mean, I think it's gonna be.
I'm excited to see.
I think it's gonna be fun to play. I'm
I'm
gonna buy
excited
it.
to see its community to die in like 2 weeks.
I'm gonna give Halo Wars 2 another chance, mostly because the beta really only had one game type that probably wasn't the best one they could have picked. They probably should have just gone with regular superior force rather than trying to do like a 5-point domination kind of thing. I probably won't wind up buying VR, but if I ever got a chance to do it, I would definitely play the shit out of Eve Valkyrie. Because when I was younger, I played a whole bunch of flight sims.
Eve Valkyrie? You're gonna have to tell me about this game now because I did not look into this game at all. I
Basically,
saw it was a VR
Eve Valkyrie,
experience.
imagine if you took the world of Eve, right? Eve Online. Like the,
Eve
like the
Online,
space
okay.
battles and stuff like that. And you know how, like, there's the smaller class of ships and the ship-to-ship fighters, like the smaller ones and things like that?
So like the cruiser class and the fighter class.
Well, even smaller. I'm talking about single pilot, like ship-to-ship.
Well, fighters are
intership
single
combat.
pilot usually. Fighters are the small ones. Cruisers are the ones that carry them. Sometimes.
So imagine if you built a first-person cockpit game. A space fighter simulator set in the Eve universe.
So Elite Dangerous meets Eve Online.
Kind of, yes.
It could actually be like the actual EVE Online.
And then put in VR and make the graphics really awesome.
So it's Elite Dangerous meets EVE Online.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with VR.
Okay, because Elite Dangerous is VR capable.
yeah. You can do VR in Elite Dangerous.
Yeah, Elite Dangerous is already a VR first-person fly around in space with prettiness.
I'm
So,
watching
yeah.
gameplay for it right now.
I'd
It looks
play the shit out of that game. And then of course there's Absolver, which I was excited for. The hand-to-hand combat, like PvP, PvE one that we talked about last week. And let's see what else have we got. I do not care at all about Watch Dogs 2, and neither should you.
I don't think any of us do really.
I'm not really
Zelda
interested in the
Division.
Division DLC.
Like I said, I'll probably get Watch Dogs too.
What was the
I like
the last
the
one?
first
Though?
game's story.
Detroit Become Human kind of looks like an interesting game, but I didn't see enough. Like there wasn't enough about it to say anything one way or the other.
I like.
Right? And you don't
I
have
like.
a PS4, do you?
Yeah, you don't have PS4.
Well, I'm saying it might give me an excuse to get one.
Ah,
Like
I
I
can give
like
you more
it because I think it's made by the same people that made like Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls.
I would be okay with that on the grounds that those people went to a company like who's a good company? Like they went to Naughty Dog and asked for fucking advice.
Oh yes.
Because
Instead
the
of-
controls always feel super janky in the Heavy Rain games and they don't work right most
Yeah,
of the
like-
time.
That and like they purposely make the games just sad. Like all the time.
That's a good part of it. That's the good
Like
part.
you can see the
Well,
sadness
that's the
coming.
good part.
Yeah, like it's always like Beyond Two Souls, for example. There is not a fucking scene where she does not cry for some reason. Like, not a single
There's-
scene. She cries all the time.
You could consider the last scene, but I mean,
She still cries.
And then
the little
Battlefield.
girl
So
cries, that's not her.
those are the ones that I'm probably interested in.
Battlefield 1. I think a lot of us are hyped for Battlefield 1. Like, I'm not
indifferent.
sure. I'm going to get it, right? Are you gonna get it, Steve?
I doubt it.
The only I think we mentioned this a little while ago. The thing that I really hope they don't do with like the PC version of Battlefield 1 is that they do the stupid browser launch thing.
Right.
Because Battlefield 4, which Steve and I got, has this stupid system where when you launch the game, instead of launching like an in-game menu like everything you've ever played before in your entire life, it loads up your web browser and goes to an online page called Battlelog.
And
When
then
you
when you join a game, it then launches the game and takes 1.5 years to load in.
And brings you to the server that you selected through the server browser and crap. And it was so stupid. Like, it felt really unintuitive because I'm super used to, menu games. Like, customizing my class was easier, in my opinion. But at the same time, it was harder to figure out how to do that because there's so many drop-down menus and there's just all this, like, look at our DLC and all this bullshit. And it's just, So I really hope they move just back to a normal game menu. And I've seen tons of people defending this launcher system where they're like, well, you can switch servers instantaneously. You don't have to leave the server and go back to the server list. You can just have the tab on a different window and go to a different server instantaneously. And
Yeah,
it takes
boy.
less time to load, and I highly
I
doubt
disagree with that.
Yeah, I disagree with that completely. Like, the game takes
Not to
longer
mention,
load.
even if it did work, you'd still have to have a separate screen dedicated to it.
Yeah.
Like what we're talking about is having a separate screen, which not all PC gamers have.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just the worst idea I've ever seen, and I saw so many people defending it, and it just seemed like they were defending it to defend it and had no ground to stand on.
Right.
Because an in-game menu means the game's loaded. The game doesn't have to load to freaking get you in the server. You have like a simple menu. It's really easy to go just click quick play. There is no quick play button in the fucking battle log system that I could find anyways. And it's so hard to get the server browser to work right because the server browser automatically restricts it to like your area, so like North America. And you can't tell it to not do that without going and loading Battlelog before launching the game and telling it that your region is not NA.
Huh.
You have to tell it that you live somewhere else before you launch the game to get it to load servers that aren't in North America.
Right.
Which was super annoying. Not that I necessarily wanted to play on those servers because they had way lower ping, but like at 2 o'clock in the morning, there's a lot more EU servers online with players than in North America.
Yep.
So I'm hoping they drop that menu system, but we'll see. Knowing that they've apparently done this since Battlefield 3, so Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, and Battlefield Hardline all had this battle log launcher through the browser thing. I don't know that they will.
It's just weird.
Well, what's worse is like you have to launch Origin to launch the game, and then it has to launch your browser to get to the battle log. It's just like, why? I just wanted to play the game. I don't need 12 million things open. I don't want 12 million things open to play this fucking game. I just want to go play the goddamn game. So I'm just kind of hoping they get rid of that, but I don't know that they will. Any other comments about Battlefield 1 before we...
Not
that
really.
was Doc's last thing he wanted to say he's excited for?
I mean, I think I said this last week. Well, actually, no, I didn't. There was a lot of energy spent on showing live gameplay of that Battlefield game. And I watched pretty much all of it. And I was relatively impressed. I mean, you can't really say that it was anything super new. It's not like they innovated a whole ton. But they definitely made it, like, look like a period piece. Like, they pretty much nailed the aesthetic they were.
Right.
I'm pretty excited to jump in there. Kind of feel like French warfare and old tanks and, you know, bi-wing airplanes and large dirigibles and all that good shit.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting. I'm hoping it's a good game. All right, so moving on, we'll move to things Steve wants to talk about.
There's a lot though.
I know.
I just picked up a new one. As we were doing this.
That's cool. Let's keep going. What else do you want to talk about that Doc didn't talk about?
I guess Horizon Zero Dawn, because I just watched the gameplay trailer for that as we were talking about that.
I'm glad somebody else is excited for that game. It looks beautiful as crap.
Oh, it looks pretty. I was just curious about what the hell it was. And like, it's like a Native American tribe in like a post-apocalyptic machine doing the world thing, and it looks cool.
It looks interesting. I'm not quite. Did you see anything about the gameplay, like actual gameplay for that?
Well, that's what I was just watching on the demo reel. It has it's just gameplay. It's just straight up all it is. And it looks.
So what does
fun.
it seem like the main goal is? Like what are you doing?
I didn't see the main goal.
Well, what's even the gameplay? Like what were they doing in the gameplay?
It showed in the beginning like this woman character that you're playing as like leaving the village, saying that she's going towards the border or whatever, whatever the fuck that means. Then she sees like these 3 machines called carriers, and one's putting like this giant ass package on its back. And she shoots the thing that's holding the package so it falls, and she loots it and just runs away as like the machines are trying to like now kill her. Like
Okay.
it seems interesting. I just want to know what the goal is, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more interesting to figure out what that game's going for because I've seen a lot of like this looks interesting. It looks kind of like an old like a Skyrim meets look at these giant machine enemies
Yeah.
type game, and I was like, well, what am I trying to do?
Yeah. Like, am I just trying to like further my tribe? Am I like trying to just destroy all the machines? What's going on?
Yep, I'm not sure what the goal is, and that goal might be what either pushes or sinks this game, in my
Right.
opinion.
Right. Then Resident Evil 7. Super psyched for it. I want it to be January now because of it.
I've never been a real Resident Evil fan, so I don't know much about Resident Evil. It says
Well,
it's got a VR experience, though.
This one, I guess, because like the last few of them have been just action oriented, not really horror, like the older games were. So this one's going back to how the old games were. I think there's still some action in it, but it's mostly going for just horror, especially from like what I've seen in the actual game demo, where like you're not fighting anything, you're like in a house and you're just trying to escape, and no one has done it yet. But according to Capcom, it is possible to escape the house.
I don't know, man.
But
Escaping the house is pretty hard.
yeah. Well, it's because
Yeah, I
of
mean, it's a
Family
really
Man.
hard, old school Flash game. Anyways,
Family Man keeps stopping you. He's
Okay.
cool. And I guess it's coming out on PS4 and PC, so it's not on Xbone for some reason. Don't know why. Don't
probably
like
because
why though.
Xbox doesn't have an announced VR.
Yeah, I don't think it's not VR only though. Is the
Well,
thing.
no, I know, but since it has VR,
Well, I guess Project Scorpio or something is supposed to use Oculus.
I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be Project Scorpio. But like Doc said, there's no like there's an announced date, but that announced date is probably going to keep getting pushed back.
Right. Anyway, God of War looked interesting.
Yeah, it looks
What's
like
the
he
big
went
thing?
Nordic,
Anger
right?
against it?
Yes, they're saying this is like they're done with the Greek mythology and they're going with Norse in this one. I think he's going at the Nordic mythology creatures now. I guess for some reason.
Well, hasn't he like?
He's practically killed all of the Greek gods.
Yeah, I was gonna say in the last game, like, has he killed all of the Greek gods yet?
Just about like all the major ones. There's obviously like those tiny ones that no one really knows or cares about. But
Oh yeah, there's all sorts of tiny ones because they're sons of daughters of daughters.
yes. But I think he's killed all the major ones. So they're going Norse mythology. But I guess like the main focal point is Kratos trying to be a good father more so than like wanting to kill gods. So I'm just kind of interested to see how that goes for him. So that sounds
Is that the boy or girl in the
yeah,
image there? Yeah.
yes.
Hmm.
I guess the main thing with that is he's just trying to be a good father.
What was his reason for killing the gods in God of War?
He wanted to kill Ares in the first one because I guess he led like an army against Ares' army, and Ares like killed his army and then killed his family. So in the first God of War, he's literally just trying to kill Ares, the God of War.
Right,
And
and
then
then
when he-
Zeus tricks him in God of War 2.
Yes, Zeus betrays him in God of War 2. And then I never played God of War 3.
Neither did I. Okay, so is this a new family that we're seeing then?
I think so. I think it's a new family.
Okay, I was just wondering if we're like rewriting things from the beginning and making it like a separate series, or if
No.
we're continuing Kratos after God
I
of
think
War.
it's just after the fact. Like after everything's been said and done for a couple of years.
He just runs away from Greece and goes and hides in the Nordic countries.
Yeah. I guess.
Apparently.
And then he's like, fuck it, I'll kill them too.
Hmm.
But anyway, I'm also excited for the new Spider-Man game.
Is it
'Cause
a
I-
Spider-Man game?
Yeah, there's a new Spider-Man. I guess it's being made by Insomniac, which I guess made Spider-Man 2 on the PS2, which everyone loves, and I also love, because web swinging in that game was amazing. But so I'm excited for that because I want to see them. I want a good Spider-Man game. It's been a long time since there's been a good Spider-Man game.
The problem with Spider-Man games is they always feel slightly disappointing at the end. Because one of the biggest mechanics that's required for Spider-Man is let's swing from building to building.
Yeah.
And some of the games really fuck that up.
Yes, but that's the beauty of Spider-Man 2. Like, Spider-Man 2 on the PS2 fucking nailed it. It was so good and so satisfying. Like, and then Spider-Man 3 happened. And, just a shit show after that of Spider-Man games that have been trash.
And it burned.
Like, the Amazing Spider-Man games were, yeah, we know you like web swinging, but if you press this button, we'll just kind of do it automatically so you don't do it yourself. Also, there's only like 7 missions in the whole game. Enjoy.
Here's a
$60,
$60 game.
please.
Go. It says
$60,
Spider-Man at the
please.
top. Buy it.
Yep.
Truth.
I'm excited about Batman Arkham VR to a degree, just because Batman, but I don't know exactly how that's gonna work.
That's gonna be really weird.
Yeah, like I don't know how it's because like a big thing with the Arkham games is like obviously the combat, but you need to be able to see all around you at all times for that to be effective. And if you're in a VR experience, you're gonna get like fucking back of the head donkey punched all the time.
Well, I was gonna say the other thing is like your classic Batman combat system is like the mash B to win with counters in the middle.
Yeah, like it's more like every combat situation in those games is more like a puzzle to a degree.
Kind of. So like there's no way you can integrate that system well into VR.
No, you can't. Like they'd have to do
So
something
they'd
totally
have to
different.
do some sort of different combat. Especially since you now have motion tracking, the ones for each of your hand.
Yep.
So now you have fists. So I don't know. Like, are they gonna try and do something like the Punch Out game?
Well,
in
I
the Wii U?
know Sony did a copyright or a trademark or something with VR gloves. They did something like patented, or at least tried to. So maybe that would be involved with this somehow. I don't know.
VR gloves.
Yeah.
So like the ones that interact dependently with your fingers and stuff.
Yeah. Yes.
That's so weird. Like
Yeah.
even then, like what do you do? Like how do you make the combat feel as satisfying as it does in the real Batman games, even though it's not that satisfying for some people?
Right.
Because
it's
like
satisfying, but
well,
I'm
what I mean
also-
is like it's satisfying because you're Batman, you're kick-ass fucking ninja guy in a suit.
yeah, pretty much.
So like all of these regular plebeians stand no chance. So
Right, but when I'm now with the VR headset on, I am now a standard plebeian.
yeah, I was gonna say
A
you're
Batman
not
suit.
like
See,
the
none
ninjas
of
are
this is
do
gonna work out until we have chips in the back of our head that we can hook up to our Xbox
Yes.
One.
Yes. Sort out online.
There are people working on nerve gear, so
Good. They need to
give
hurry
them
up.
time.
But just have it intercept the transmission from the brains and just. Be
I
like,
don't know.
"Go."
I don't know if you can do that, Dildev, but I'm hoping
But
somebody
but
figures
maybe.
out how. If somebody
Um,
figures out how to stop the signal from going down our spinal cord and intercept it and understand that nerve signal, the day, man. The day
I'm
virtual
curious.
reality becomes real.
I'm curious about
It
Crash
will no longer
Bandicoot.
be a nerve signal. It'll be a nerd signal. Gosh dang it! I can't
Wow. Rip. Rip.
I
Rip the stream.
think Dildev wanted to say nerd signal, but he
It
failed.
would go from a nerve signal to a nerd signal. Yes, that was the joke.
But I'm curious about Crash Bandicoot. Only because it says Activision in its thing, and I hope it's not being made by Activision. It shouldn't be if it is.
I think it's because it's a Crash Bandicoot Skylanders crossover. Like if you look
Well,
at
no,
the
like that's a separate,
Right.
that's a whole separate thing. Like they're
separate because they look the same art style with almost the same background.
like let me Google this quick just to see what's
I was
going
gonna
on
say,
with that.
looking at them both,
Because it's
the-
saying it's
the
just
art-
a remaster of like the first game or maybe the first 2 games.
do you see what I'm saying, Deldev? The background looks almost the same.
Yes. That's because Skylanders has like a weird cartoony thing.
I could see
Because
that.
you know it's a
But
kid game.
Yeah, but I mean, like the art style for the grass is the same.
Yeah, but it's because probably to make it an easier crossover. But
I'm
either
thinking
way,
it's- yeah.
either way, I want to know who's making it, and I can't see the
Well-
film making it, and it should be Naughty Dog if it's not.
Well, it depends. Is it a remaster? Because if it's a
Yes.
remaster, as long as they bought the rights to make it from Naughty Dog, anybody can make it.
But I don't think Naughty Dog would sell those rights. 'cause
Oh,
I'm
the
pretty
YouTube
sure-
the YouTube stream health appears to have taken a momentary crap.
Nice.
Okay. The YouTube stream has crashed. Twitch,
What?
be glad you're here with us.
Not crashed. It went red for a minute.
Yeah, it's being made by Activision.
Yep.
Right, I
so I'm
think-
betting they
I think we're good again.
think you could. Okay. Hello, YouTube. We've returned
All right. Well,
from our momentary frame loss, probably sound quality death.
oh yeah, but
I never
yeah,
left.
we there was about a minute where we had 100% frame drop. There was we
Ow.
lost all the frames. I can, like I said, I'll upload an archive version. So continue.
Okay. Yeah. I'm glad I archive all mine too. Okay. So Crash Bandicoot being made by Activision, Steve.
What happened now? Oh yeah, it's being made by it's-
Archive all mine.
Well, I don't know why it's being made by Activision. I don't want it to be. It needs to be Naughty Dog. I don't feel like Activision will do it right.
I feel like we mentioned this earlier, but I'm an Atlas fanboy. Doc's a Bungie fanboy. Steve is a Naughty Dog fanboy. Delta, are you a fanboy for any company?
not in particular.
Okay. Just
Well, I
wondering.
feel
I
like
mean,
I feel like Activision's gonna give Crash an AK-47 and then make a multiplayer.
dude, I'm down. 4-pack, please.
But I'm not just a Naughty Dog fanboy. I am also a Hideo Kojima fanboy.
They could always give him an AR-15 and put him in inner city Orlando.
As a small loop goes off,
Really?
and he watches a guy die in his arms. With a skull mask on.
No. It can't
As a
be
cigarette
guy.
burns on the ground nearby.
It's the Tiki mask. The Tiki
Okay,
mask.
He dies in his arms. The cigarette burns on the ground nearby. Looks up and the world is in clean, crisp, non-cartoon quality as far as the eye can see. And there's humans running around.
I'm also excited for Death Stranding, obviously, because Hideo Kojima. And apparently it's also coming to PC, not just PS4.
So what is Death Stranding?
Norman Natus. What is
That's a
Norman
good
Fetus?
question. That's a good question. What is
Say,
Death
we
Stranding?
watched the demo from
Yeah.
E3, and just does anybody know what that is? Besides,
No, they just keep asking Hideo Kojima and he's just giggling about it.
I was gonna say, like, we understand your feelings from the beginning part, like we get it, like, you know, the cuffs on the guy are you being free from Konami, the baby's Metal Gear
Like
Solid,
him being reborn.
yeah, the scars
The
in the
dead-
bottom.
The
I
dead
was-
whales supposedly are like his lost colleagues from before.
The dead
And
whales.
there's like those 5 flying figures that I don't know what the fuck that is.
There's
like-
the scars on his stomach, which are supposedly how he gave everything inside of him to make the games, and now it's gone.
Yep. Like I don't understand. Just whenever anyone asks him about it, he just laughs and walks
I was
away.
gonna say it almost just seems like a fuck you, Konami. I'm
Like, I
making
think
the game
during the-
anyways.
During the whole like the showing of the demo and everything, But I think when it was done, he literally just walked off the stage with like
Wow.
this smile on his face.
What is this game? Everybody in the audience is probably going, "What is this game?"
Yep. Oh, I love Hideo Kojima. He's just such an asshole.
I don't know if anyone knows.
But that's why everyone was so happy he went with Sony as well. That's because basically Sony's like, well, here's employees. Have fun.
Here's employees, please make us game.
Yeah, make us a game. We don't care what it is. Do whatever you want. Have fun. So he's doing what he wants. And he wants to fuck with people.
Wow. Okay.
What is my true
Um,
goal in life? To screw with people.
What else? I
Can't
think
say
there's
anything
lots
else for you.
excited for it. I don't know.
Never
I don't think there is
excited.
actually. I think that's it.
So what does Dad Dev want to play?
Yeah, I was gonna
So, well, you
say.
see, while you guys were all talking, I went and made a list.
Whoa.
Deldev, let's get to this list. All right, Deldev, hit me up.
All right, starting from the first game, we've got Farming Simulator 17.
God
Why?
damn you.
Because I'm sure that Burger Paul will make a great video out of it, so I hope it comes out awesomely bad.
You,
God damn you.
I love the way like Farming Simulator the next year is coming out. Do we hope it's a good game? No, we hope it sucks because all the bugs are hilarious. We
Pretty
don't
much.
want it to be a good game. We want it to be terrible with horrible collusion physics.
Bugs. Don't you mean features?
Yes. I'm sorry. I was speaking in the pleb terms.
So yes, I thought that would be a funny thing to throw in there because usually those games are pretty bad. The truck simulator games are getting better actually, but other than that, most of those simulator games suck.
Yeah, I
Um,
think it's because the truck simulators realized people actually enjoy playing like just sitting back and driving, which is I can't blame them. I wouldn't mind doing that occasionally.
I mean, I was gonna say something, but given my porn habits, I really can't judge somebody who wants to drive around a virtual truck.
Your porn habits makes you not want to blame anybody.
No, it's just saying like
He gets
there's
off on people driving trucks.
everybody does weird shit. Okay, some people like to drive around trucks in a make-believe simulator. Other people watch tentacle porn. It's just
Wow,
it's
that's the
it's
comparison.
all just one thing. Yep, sure.
That's the comparison.
All right, Doc, 2016, tentacle porn is like truck simulator.
I didn't say it's like Truck Simulator.
It's just comparable to it by audience.
Well, actually, there might be overlap there.
There might be.
Anybody
What else,
ever watch
Olive?
the Otaku truck driver video on YouTube?
No.
I will have to show you that after this.
I'm just saying, like, what I mean is I can't judge people for weird video game habits when,
Yeah.
everybody has weird habits about
Oh,
something
wait,
or
do you
other.
watch, is that an admittance that you watch tentacle porn? then?
Of course I watch tentacle porn.
That's
What
a
kind of
silly
a question is that?
I have a friend amongst
He
us
watches anime. What else would he watch?
I'm just gonna say,
now.
graduated from Real Girls. The 2D girls,
Anyone
the
who
best
watches
girls.
anime instantly into tentacle porn.
Dude,
Pretty
Tootie
much.
girls. Tootie girls
2D
are way
girls
better.
are best girls, dude.
Lack of dimension is the best.
Yeah, subtract that one B and they're way better.
There's this one,
I would like to remind everyone that this came from Farming Simulator 17.
No, you see, this is when we make it big, this will be why people watch. Not because of the gaming news, but because they want to see how far off base we can get. And if we can get from tentacle porn from Truck Simulator, I think we're doing pretty good.
Farming Simulator. Yeah. Yep.
All right.
All right, Delta. What's next on your list?
So there's the very obvious Final Fantasy 15 because it looks interesting, and I'm kind of curious on how they're going to take the game series in the future.
I do have comment on that. I am still worried about it because during the last demo release, about 50% of consoles had problems with rendering issues. So I'm hoping that the game still looks beautiful and they don't have those rendering errors and like lag
Okay.
errors and frame errors, because I think we talked about this during episode 2, maybe episode 3, where we think it's two different release versions. Like one is like, here's like max quality, let's see how the console handles it, and then here's like what we think the console can handle, maybe.
Well, I've also actually come up with an alternate explanation the intervening time.
Okay.
If it's not a large percentage of the population that's having these errors, but it's enough to be mentionable, there's a chance that, I mean, the chips in their systems are just binned lower than ones in other systems, because when you mass produce anything, you obviously have to do testing and chip binning, and there's a range of acceptable, like, you know, heat tolerances and power limits and stuff like that. And there's actually a chance that they might just have subpar equipment compared to other consoles. Like that's not unheard of.
It's true.
I don't know if that would make a big enough difference to cause rendering issues. Maybe some of the consoles are thermal throttling. I mean, you know, you'd have to get a closer look at one that's working properly versus one that isn't working properly.
Right.
But like, unless I had solid numbers about how many consoles are having problems rendering, like, I don't know if anybody's actually studied this in depth or
Hold on,
not,
I'll
because
go look up the numbers for you.
it is a beta build or an alpha or demo or whatever the fuck. Yeah, but having binning issues or pieces, parts of consoles that didn't quite make the standard bar, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could cause problems like that, especially if it's intermittent across what should be similar hardware. That doesn't sound like a programming issue to me. That sounds like something else.
Apparently, about 40% of users experienced a problem.
All right, well, that's a little high then. Like maybe if it was down to like 15,
Like what
they
kind
might
of
be able to
problems?
explain it like that.
Frame rate errors, errors in the terrain loading, where you'd end up with like world holes, like Minecraft. Apparently, like a lot to do with just the world.
Okay.
Apparently, also the demo version that was released is only about 45% complete.
Oh well.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
still, you still have intermittent errors though, so there's obviously a third factor in there somewhere that's causing something wonky to happen.
Right, and if
Yeah.
like all those holes are like in the same spot, popping up for some of those people, or at least close together in the same area in the demo.
I mean, you'll be surprised what can actually cause problems. For example, I can't remember what game it was now. God damn it! But I can tell you what the symptom was. People were having problems loading a particular map, basically. And they found that, you know how the Xbox One keeps a certain amount of memory overhead to be able to jump directly to the dashboard?
Yeah.
Okay. Basically, if someone had loaded up a streaming service, like if they'd done like Crunchyroll or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
they had part of that video in their temporary memory, and that app was causing a conflict with the rest of the dev space and was causing a problem loading a certain map.
Wow.
It was like you'd be surprised what sort of like cross application crap can happen in testing. It'll blow your mind. So, like I said, if it's only 40% complete and it's operating in an environment that has other programs in overhead, there's definitely a third factor in there somewhere that either the consumer doesn't know or they themselves haven't figured out yet.
We could also say that about 40% of users would be Xbox One users, but I'm not saying this problem is not exclusive to Xbox. It's about 50-50 on that for consoles. So it's not just the console that's causing the problem, even though the numbers would line up. About 20% of PS4 users and about 20% of Xbox users are experiencing the issue.
See, now that sounds more believable for a binning issue.
Yeah.
Hopefully they get
Yeah,
it resolved.
I guess they just
That's
said
all I can
that
say about it.
20 and 20 is 40, so they combined them both together and said the overhead.
That's how
failure rate is
percentages
40%.
work, right?
Yeah, that's not how percentages work, guys.
I've been lied to this entire time.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm hoping the game is really good. It does look fucking gorgeous, though. The combat system's new. Also, Steve, to add to you a little bit on that loading problem, though,
Yeah.
in Final Fantasy, like most worlds, like it's like Final Fantasy 12, but it loads a GTA-sized map in each section.
Sweet.
Rip.
So you're looking at huge areas loaded almost all at once. Like the quality changes over distance, obviously, but
Yeah.
yeah, so you're loading huge chunks of the world all at once, and then you have separate zones you can travel into, like Final Fantasy 12. If anybody played that,
Nope.
of course not. Can I think of a comparable game? I really can't. It's hard to explain.
Are you talking about like a huge world and then like you teleport from area to area?
No, you don't teleport from area to area. Like you walk to like an entranceway on the edge of the area, and then you can go to another area through that entranceway, and then it will load the next area and unload the area you were just in.
Fable 2?
Dark Cloud?
Sure, things like that. Like, and each of the maps are like GTA-sized map areas that they're loading each of the sections.
Okay,
So,
well, Fable 2 is not quite that big, but Yeah.
Yeah, supposedly Final Fantasy is fucking massive.
Screw Fable.
what else is on your list?
Well, then you've got Dragon Quest VII, just because I enjoyed playing number 9 when it was back on the Game Boy, the
Wait.
Nintendo DS, the original.
Oh yeah,
Wait,
Sentinels of the
wait.
Stars guy.
Wait.
Yeah, but I obviously I haven't gone into the other ones,
one-
so I can't say for certain if I'm gonna enjoy it or not.
This one's called Dragon Quest VII, but you played the 9th one?
Yes,
Dragon
what
Quest
happens?
doesn't go in a numbered order.
What ended up happening is they're re-releasing some of the older ones on newer consoles.
Oh, okay.
So they did 9 a while back, but now they're bringing up 7 for the 3DS.
Oh, I'll let you finish your list, but yeah, there's one more I'm excited for.
Maybe it'll be in here.
Yeah, maybe it'll be in
Um,
Delta's list, so we'll find out.
You've got
Sure.
Pokemon Go and Pokemon Sun and Moon, because Pokemon Go just might be amazing, but who knows?
Mm-hmm.
They don't really give you much information on that other than you can walk and find Pokemon.
Yep, I kind of want to talk about Pokemon Go a little more, but I'll let you mention Sun and Moon before we talk about Pokemon Go.
And Sun and Moon's just gonna be another game. I'll buy it and then I'll end up going, I don't enjoy playing this so much, but it's sad, but I do that quite often.
I don't know. My hope for Sun and Moon, I've mentioned this to Deldev. I don't know if I mentioned this to the others of you, but like in Pokemon X and Y and Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, after you did the normal like storyline of going through the quests, getting the legendary monster, beating the gyms, becoming champion, the normal bullshit you do in every game,
Yeah.
they had another story. And in Y and X, it was help the detective guy, whatever his name is, do his detective work as like a Pokemon sleuth. And that was really fun and interesting, and I enjoyed that more than I enjoyed the majority of the rest of the game. And then in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, there was the after story quest, which I haven't beaten the game, so I haven't played it, but I'm assuming I'm gonna have the same feelings towards that, because it deviates from the standard, like, here's the story you've experienced a million times, go become champion like you always have in all of the other games. It deviates from that, and I like the idea of Pokemon going away from the let's just become champion. Like, I would
Right.
appreciate it more if it really was just like a side mention
Right,
instead of you have to do this to advance.
right. Because the way they make them do that is with the fucking HMs.
Yeah, which means you have to go do the gym. And even
Yeah.
then, usually one of the gyms or the final like champion relates to the story that they've been trying to weave the whole time.
Yep.
Like in Black and White, the final champion has the legendary Pokemon.
Right.
And you have like you get Reshiram, he gets Zekrom, or vice versa, and you have your Pokemon battle. Losing one of your
alert! Ugh.
yeah, God, spoiler alert. Oof.
Okay.
Spoiler alert for like two game series ago. Three, because there's Pokemon Black and White too.
Like, I'd like it, like we keep saying, at least privately, if we could go to all the regions. Or at least a heavy chunk of them, like 4 of them maybe would even be nice.
Yeah, like be able
You
to go
don't know what you
Kanto,
want, you can't
something
have it.
like Gold and Silver, where you could go Kanto and Johto.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Steve,
I
you
would
don't know what
enjoy
you
that,
want.
but
You're
then
not allowed to have that.
you need more than the go beat the gyms again. You need a story that drives your reason to go there. And I don't know that Game Freak has ever bothered,
No.
because Game Freak makes one game series. They
Yeah.
make Pokemon. They've made Pokemon since 1999.
I'd love it if they licensed it to someone else and they made just an MMO, even if it's still like on a Nintendo console or whatever.
People have actually
I'd-
done that.
Yeah,
Well, I
There's,
know, but I mean, they're
uh,
usually shitty.
Well, no, there was that one that used 2.5 version of Fire Red that was like a Fire Red MMO for a while before it got hit with a cease and desist, wasn't there?
Yeah,
Yes.
there's a
Pokemon.
few of them.
Oh, what is it
Like,
called?
I've
I can't
tried,
remember
but I
what it was
don't.
called.
I
Are you
want like
talking
a
about, like,
full
was
on.
it Pokemon World?
It might have been.
I know there was one that had a huge leveling system, and they ended up having to create an entirely new site because they got in trouble by Nintendo and stuff.
Yeah, because cease and
And-
desist.
Probably because
Yeah.
they're using like actual sprites from the game rather than original sprites.
Yeah.
Like, I'd love it if it was just like a full on like 3D modeled, like made in like Unreal Engine, or even fucking CryEngine MMO.
Jesus, Steve.
Yeah.
I
That's what I want.
most realistic Pokemon experience possible.
I don't care if it's realistic, but you know what I mean. Like, I want it just. I want
He
to be able to
wants
make
it cleaner than
characters-
it is, because Steve has this complaint about things looking childish, and we'll get into
Well,
that.
no, like I give Pokemon the pass because I enjoy the gameplay a lot. But I mean, like, I want to be able, like, there was some game being made so long ago where like you just started, you didn't even have a Pokemon. It was like a very early build. You couldn't really do much, but you had like 6 Pokeballs. You can go capture a Pokemon, and then you see another one. You throw your Pokemon at him. Then you control the Pokemon during the fight, and it was like in a 3D space and not turn-based.
So like a Poketekken meets
Kind of.
Pokemon.
Kind of.
Pokeken, whatever it was.
Poketekken.
Yeah, the Pokemon
Pokken.
meets Tekken. Pokken. Sure.
Similar
I
to
thought
that,
it had
except,
two Ks.
except it's not like
Yeah, it's POKKEN tournament.
I have to actually
Yeah.
find what that's called, but yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, like that's how you'd have to do it, though. You'd have to make it an action RPG space for your Pokemon.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, I could see that, but how well can you handle that on the current portable platform?
Well, that's why I said like have it on like the Nintendo console itself.
So like the NX, which is supposedly supposed to blow things
And
out
that
of the water.
MMO I was talking about is called Pokemon Planet or Planet Pokemon, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else on Sun and Moon before I get into Go really quick?
Nope.
Really, no?
Okay, I take that. So I mentioned Pokemon Go earlier. I don't know if it was on the stream or before the stream because I can't remember now. But and I mentioned to Steve that it was Pokemon meets Ingress, which is a AR game that I got him playing for a little while, and that's basically what Pokemon Go is. But the reason I'm excited for Pokemon Go is because there's been talk of creating a site to manage local gym leaders and Elite Four to have official tournaments and stuff like that run through the Pokemon Go system. So you create
Yes.
small regional gym leaders, small regional Elite Four, national Elite Four, stuff like that. And you'd have the Pokemon tournament that's accessible to people that go places with their DSs, more accessible through the phone game, and really fun. It sounds like to
Is
me.
Pokemon Go going to be a crossover between phone and DS, or is it just?
Nope. Go is mobile exclusive, I believe. Yeah, it's iOS and Android. Period.
I thought they were doing it.
I don't believe so. I know the only the way they make you buy the game, quote unquote, is you don't have to buy the game. You have to buy the bracelet thing, if I recall. That lets you use the Pokeball. It alerts you
Right.
when there's Pokemon nearby and that thing.
Yep.
That bracelet, which is $10 or whatever, $15, if I recall, were the prices they stated, but who knows if those will be the prices when they actually come out. I just think it would be really fun to have, let's go fight a local gym leader that's actually nearby. You don't even necessarily have to leave your house to do that if they're online, because you could do it through Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, because battles are part of the game. You can challenge trainers. And by trainers, we obviously mean other players, because there are no random trainers in the environment in Pokemon Go.
Do I have to restrain myself to only people with the watches, or can I just challenge anyone I see?
You can challenge
that
anyone
walks
you
in front of
see.
me?
You can challenge anyone you see that has Pokemon Go, because you don't need the watch to play the game, because you can get Pokemon I don't remember
I know.
exactly how.
But that would be the noticeable difference between them, is that they have a watch that obviously states that they play Pokemon Go. So then I would see them and go, "Oh, you! I must fight you now because you looked at me or you got in front of
Yeah.
me."
Yeah, I mean, you could do that if you wanted to, if they want to accept. Obviously, this is the real world, and they can walk away. This isn't
But what if I shoot
Fuck
Pokemon.
you,
them in the
guy.
legs? What if I shoot them in the legs, force them to stay?
I mean, then you might get the
And I
cops
take 'em
called
to the
on you,
Pokemon
labeled
Center.
a psychopath. We might have to take this video down. Things.
The fun stuff.
But I'm just more excited about Pokemon Go literally for that little local gym leader idea where, the gyms are actually players. And also the game supposedly supports a system where you can, when you become a gym leader, because the game actually keeps track of your local lead score and makes you a gym leader, quote unquote, you can create a party of a certain level out of certain Pokemon, which means you
when you go catch
become
'em.
the gym leader. You can actually be like, well, I'm going to be the dark gym leader and get a party of completely dark Pokemon if you feel like putting yourself at a disadvantage. But I mean, it's more fun that way, obviously. I'm just thinking of how this could be really fun. And the same goes for the Elite Four and the Champion. They have access to a Poke database when they're challenged as an Elite Four, quote unquote. They can use the Pokemon in the database at a certain level. Supposedly, anyways.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm excited for Go. However, it has to actually do these things for me to give in. I might get it anyways, just because I like AR games. I play Ingress, so. I'm done talking about those two Pokemon games now, Death. If you want to move on
Okay.
with your list.
Well,
Apparently,
next
people
is
don't have
Monster
much to
Hunter.
contribute about what I'm saying. Monster Hunter
Next is Monster
Generations.
Hunter. Yep, because that's Monster Hunter. You can't not be excited for it. Otherwise, you're
Unless
a
you're
real
Steve
person.
and Doc, probably.
Yep.
You guys
Not really.
excited for Monster Hunter?
Nope.
Well,
Steve hasn't played Monster
Nothing.
Hunter. I really should let him just borrow my Monster Hunter 4 and play it. See if he likes the game at all.
Yeah, he likes Dark Souls, so he's gotta like that.
I would assume he likes it because it is very similar to Dark Souls.
Who said I like Dark Souls?
You did.
I did not.
good joke.
Huh. I remember discreetly you telling me under your breath in the middle of the night when I wasn't talking to you.
I liked it.
Steve just came into Dub's room and goes, I like Dark Souls, and then he's gone.
Yeah, like I drove all the way to Michigan. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning. He's just dead passed out. I break into his home just to go into his room that I somehow know where it is and just whisper in his ear, I like Dark Souls.
I'd believe
And
it.
then I left.
I believe it.
Yeah,
Steve, you would totally do something like that.
I
Yeah.
would. Anyway,
You're the one guy that we can definitely see doing that.
We have been
valid.
we have been Mike's Hot now for an hour and 36 minutes. Do we have any other
Yeah.
topics to deal with, or anything we want to hold over until?
We have a lot from me too. I planned on E3 being a long topic. Yeah, EA. I think I should have
EA.
moved to it sooner.
Rip.
Yeah, rip. E3 is gonna be a long topic.
You want me to just quick cover the rest of my topics real quick?
It doesn't. Does anybody have to cut off quickly?
Yeah, I've got a hard deadline, probably about another 10 minutes.
You've got a hard deadline in 10 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, because we've never gone over an hour and 50, or an hour and 45, so I didn't think we'd go over this time.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, let me just bring up my few last topics. We won't go into details on them. Story of Seasons 2. I never actually got to play fully through the first one. I tried it, but it looks like a really detailed game, and the fans for it will probably love it if it's a great update. We've got Attack on Titan because it's Attack on Titan. South Park: The Fractured Butthole, which is great, and I hope it's as great as the last game. Mountain Blade 2. I love the Mountain Blade games, and I hope it's as open worldy and tactical as the previous ones. Cuphead, which
really quick,
just
do you think people should play the Stick of Truth before they play the Fractured Butthole, or do you think that they'll stand on their own?
they'll stand on their own. It's literally the games are an episode. Like you play it thinking you're going into a game, but you're just going into a South Park episode.
Yeah, basically.
Um,
And since the episodes don't necessarily relate, it's not anything you have to worry about just going into.
but
the
you
fact
should
that-
play it either way. The game's great.
Yeah,
It's
if you like
hilarious.
RPGs, you'll love fucking like
Stick of
man,
Truth.
I love the Stick of Truth. Because literally like the whole premise to the game is the kids of South Park are playing Dungeons and Dragons and like taking it into like the literal.
This time it's gonna be superheroes.
It's gonna be the superheroes. Is
Mhm.
it still like the RPG system?
Oh my
I hope
God.
so. They didn't give much information, and it's coming out in December, so I'm hoping we get more information.
What I might do, by the way, is I'll probably just hold off my topics because I have like a lot of other games that no one has mentioned. And one of them I know I want to take a while to like dissect with Steve at the minimum, and one of them I wanted to take a while and talk with Deldev about, and have
I'm not-
other opinions and voices. So
On top of something I actually want to talk to you about, there's a new Phoenix Wright game.
there is
Not out yet, but it's in the works.
what I'm happy. I love Phoenix Wright.
Like basically the
take a look
idea
at
of it is he moves like Phoenix moves to like this area where they don't have lawyers or prosecutors. Like the queen or princess there has like this power to show the last few moments of like someone that was killed, and they just use that to find the murderer. So
That sounds OP.
you know, yeah.
What? How
But
did?
she's
How is this
technically
a Phoenix Wright game?
she's technically the prosecutor.
How is Phoenix Wright part of this game?
She's technically the prosecutor and the judge.
Yeah,
gonna
but
be like,
that's
"Oh,
my
look
problem. Like, how is this a Phoenix Wright game now? Like,
Because
there's no way to not overcome her power.
That's what I want to see. I want to see what he. Like I want to see how they do it.
So she's gonna be like, look at these are the last few moments of this person's life.
Are we saying
This is-
she framed them, or are we saying that someone manipulated her magical powers?
I'm just imagining.
That
Phoenix
sounded
Wright's
that
just gonna
sounded
shout
sexual. I
objection.
just want to put that out there.
How much of the final moments you get to see, where it's just like the last few seconds of whoever the fuck she just saw, that kind of deal, and whoever she sees in the vision is the
Oh,
guilty.
whoever she last saw. So whoever the victim last saw.
I think,
Okay, that's completely different than seeing the last few moments of a crime.
but I think it's the last few moments. I'd have to look into it again.
Even then, that's still
Objection.
completely different because
Yes.
I can object to the viewpoint of people, and also what people see aren't necessarily what is actually happening in the real world because you can see things that aren't there.
So yeah, so I wanted to tell you that, and I forgot about it. I've known about it for like 2 weeks now.
Okay. Whew. I now know how it's a Phoenix Wright game, and I'm less upset. Is Apollo and Athena going with him? Does it
Not
mention
yet.
that?
Didn't
I hope
mention.
they are. I love Athena. Like, I'm super happy about Athena as a character.
She's
Let
okay.
me go ahead and finish this list real quick. So
Yeah, go for it.
cut it off. We've got Cuphead, which looks like a great platforming Castle Crasher type game set in like a hand-drawn, old-timey universe. Top-notch trailers.
Xbox
Kingdom
One.
Hearts. Yep, Kingdom Hearts 2.8, which will have a bunch of different Kingdom Hearts games, as well as the one that was for mobile, that will be revamped and prettified because mobile's not going to look very good on a PS4. Then you have World of Final Fantasy, which looks kind of silly. I'm curious to see how that looks towards the end of its development. It's going to come out in a few months, and if it looks as good as it seems, then it would be fun to watch and play. It's got like characters that can change from real world characters to these chibi forms that you see on that little icon there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It looks kind of similar to the most recent mobile one for the DS that I can't think what it was. Crystal Saga? Crystal something? Anyways. Was that it on your list?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm just going to quickly do a prelude to next week by mentioning all the games I want to go over next week, probably afterwards. So the games I want to go over, I already did Final Fantasy 15. I want to go over Tokyo Mirage Sessions, #FE. I want to go over Persona 5, Hand of Fate 2, Star Ocean Integrity and Facelessness, Tales of Basira. There's a lot. I need to make a whole list. Yeah, there's a lot in here. We already talked about Pokemon, luckily. We did Halo, that's nice. I kind of wanted to talk about Attack on Titan a little more than just mentioning it at a glance, so we can get into that next week. Talk about Infinite War, because there's a little more there to talk about than just being like writing this game off purely. Gravity Rush 2, Jotun, For Honor, Eagle Flight, maybe. It looked weird. I'm kind of interested in talking about it if people want to, though. The Turing Test, I'm interested just by the name, so I'll do more research before next week and see what that game is for you guys. Oxygen Not Included looked pretty fun. I wanted to talk more about Project Scorpio. Scaleborn actually interested me after watching the demo. Yeah, I have a lot. I'm excited about a lot of things. Elder Scroll Legends because I like card games. Mass Effect Andromeda because I'm a Mass Effect fan. Sherlock Holmes: The Devil's Daughter because I like games like that. I hope it lives up to the Sherlock Holmes type game style. Styx, Shards of Darkness because I enjoyed the first game. Now there's another thing for your Cuphead there, Deldev. Yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it on my list, I believe. Besides the ones that were already mentioned. I feel like I'm missing a platformer, but I don't know why. I can't remember which platformer it was. But I am excited about a lot of things. I think, Steve, you mentioned The Last Guardian, right? Or did you not? Okay, you did. Good. Then I don't have to mention it. Yeah. Zelda, the new Zelda, Breath of the Wild. That's it for me.
All right, I will try to set aside a whole 2 hours and change next time. I had some prior stuff because the last 3 episodes we did normally went about an hour 40, so
Yeah,
I'll make sure.
I figured E3 would be a huge topic, and I was hoping we'd elaborate a lot about the games, and we did pretty good at that. So hopefully we can do the same with next time.
Right.
On
Well,
Dragon Ball Z.
there you go.
Oh, Axion Verge. That's the platformer. Sorry. Axiom Verge.
Axiom Verge.
Axiom.
Eggs and
Anyways.
burger.
All right. Are we
Anyways,
good?
you may lead us out. Yeah, and then
All
I'll
right.
add my ending.
So this has been 4 Mics, a show where 4 dudes who know a little amount about a lot of stuff attempt to sound mildly entertaining on the internet. Thank you for joining us once again, and have a wonderful evening.
Don't
Have
tell
a good
people
night,
in real
guys.
lives.
Hopefully you'll follow us on Twitch, follow us